end of the day. So hope you had an informative session. That marks the end of tonight's town hall. Thank you so much for watching. But we can't just leave you like that. As members of the Fourth Estate, we prepared a piece specifically to the head of state, because we've had time and time again the buck stops with Mr. President. So listen to this letter to dear Mr. President. Good evening.
Dear Mr. President, we write to you not out of malice but out of deep concerns for the direction our country has taken under your leadership. You have often presented yourself as a man of faith, associating yourself with the church. It is from that very foundation of faith that many now look to you, asking whether the values so often proclaimed will be reflected in the choices made by your administration. Mr. President, the same church you wept in while vying for presidency, those same altars have now left Kenyans crying as they flee for their lives. Places once seen as sanctuaries have now become arenas of fear, and places of free expression have turned to places of intimidation. Mr. President, the church that you rooted your leadership in have turned to places of political violence. Church places that should be sacred and peaceful have reportedly been disrupted by groups of goons, forcing the clergy that dined with you to address you in public.
Attacking people in a sacred place is an attack on the honor of the church. Jesus Christ our Lord.
Mr. President, these were your words.
Hii siasa, sisi ndio mafundi wa hii kitu. Hii siasa tunajua kuitengeneza siasa vizuri.
But, Mr. President, is this the way of kupanga siasa? When you say unajua kupanga siasa, Mr. President, is it the politics of goonism under your watch, or the politics of tokenism? Mr. President, the promise of security cannot coexist with a climate in which citizens fear exercising their constitutional rights. The latest by-election, a litmus of the coming general election, was marked by violence, fear, intimidation, and terror. With exactly 1 year to the general election, Mr. President, what is your plan of kupanga siasa?
Na musikuwe na wasiwasi. Relax.
Relaxing while the nation collapses under the weight of goonism is where we, the media, will draw the line. As if that is not all, they've also picked a few lessons on how you want demonstrating citizens to be handled.
We are going to use whatever means that is available to make sure that we stabilize the country.
Could it be that such utterances have emboldened the armed men who now shoot recklessly into the air? I will take this opportunity and remind them of Boniface Kariuki, the mask vendor. Your government was ready to defend the act. Mr. President, this is the very man you have now appointed as the face and voice of your government, Charles Owino. A man who time and again has been accused of dismissing facts and choosing to defend his colleagues only for IPOA to reveal a different story. Yet, hours after your promise of dealing with goonism and organized violence, you have entrusted Charles Owino with the responsibility of speaking on behalf of your administration and shaping the message delivered to Kenyans. Well, positions, roles, and appointments are temporary, but Mr. President, peace of the nation cannot be traded with anything. Remember, you promised peace, Mr. President.
Goons and all these other characters, criminals, should be stopped.
Yet, across the country, reports of violence and intimidation have become disturbingly familiar. That reminds me of the Kisumu incident involving an elected leader, Vihiga Senator Godfrey Osotsi. You have never publicly addressed the incident despite your appointed principal secretary having found himself caught in the crosswinds of the incident, leaving many wondering why silence has become the chosen response. The same PS, Raymond Omolo, has been accused of organizing goons in his backyard whenever rallies are organized to oppose your government, yet you remain quiet about all this. Mr. President, you can run from the truth, but you cannot outrun it abroad because international confidence also appears to have been affected. Travel advisories issued by foreign governments, including Canada's decision to advise its citizens against travel to Kenya or to exercise increased caution, raises difficult questions about how our country's security is perceived abroad. I therefore ask you, why has your promise of security failed to become a true shelter of safety for many Kenyans. What concrete steps is your government taking to end political violence, criminality, and reported abductions? When will those responsible for acts of violence and intimidation, regardless of their political affiliation or status, be brought to justice? Mr. President, history will judge your presidency not by the grandeur of the promises made, but by whether you protected the lives, rights, and dignity of the people you sought to serve. The people of Kenya deserve more than assurance. They deserve clear answers, genuine accountability, and leadership whose actions reflect its words, because a nation's trust is built when those in power ensure that their actions carry the same weight and truth as their words. Yours sincerely, concerned citizens.